Hey, it's Live Open Mike. Thank you for checking out another video. In this one, we're going to review the new hand-track puzzle game Silhouette on the MetaQuest 2. Before we get started, I want to thank the developers for providing the review key for this video. This is the second VR game developed by Team Panoptic. I hope I said that right. Their first game was the local multiplayer game Panoptic a few years ago. The game was published by Beyond Frames, best known for Down the Rabbit Hole, Carly and the Reaper Man, and most recently, Juan's Alliances. In this game, you use your hand to cast shadows and complete simple puzzles, guiding small creatures called Shadowies from one doorway to another. If you're a little bit older like I am, you get total vibes of the classic game Lemmings. For VR comparison's sake, this is like a mix between the recent VR puzzle game Kartoffel and the excellent light-based puzzle game Shadowpoint. Every time you complete a puzzle, you get a small black triangle or rectangle later in the game as a reward. These are keys to unlock stone doors that open up more of the island the game takes place on. I normally record my gameplay with myself superimposed over the game feed using the green screen, but apparently the key lights I used to light myself in my office weren't enough for the quest, as I repeatedly lost tracking. Depending on what I was doing, that caused me to have to restart the puzzle. Eventually I just turned off my camera like you see here and continued with the recording. To be fair, the game does tell you right at the beginning, every single time you boot the game, to make sure you're in a well-lit area, to not move your hands too fast, to keep the tracking consistent, and don't cross your hands. If you're not recording yourself like I am, this is a lot easier to do. Your movement is plainly explained at the beginning of the game as well. To turn, you make a fist with your palm facing you with either hand, point left or right with your thumb, then pull your thumb back in to trigger the turn. To move, you teleport to posts all over the island by aiming your hand at the post with your palm facing up. Your directional pointer changes from red to blue when you're on the mark, and you teleport to that node 2 seconds later. As far as the puzzles, they start simple enough and add more elements as the game wears on. The first puzzle just requires you to make a simple bridge with your hands. You're quickly asked to do more, like using finger guns to blast away obstacles, and block or reroute water to create a safe passage. Overall, it took me about 3 hours to complete all the puzzles, and that's what stopping occasionally and restarting my recording to break up the files a bit. I could easily see this game being expanded with more content and puzzles down the line. The issue is, only a handful of the puzzles were truly challenging. The longest one only took me about 20 minutes. There are a few that had me thinking it can't be that simple, and it was. Having said all that, this is not a stressful game at all, and that's a good thing. You complete puzzles at your leisure and there's zero sense of urgency. If your Shadowy dies accidentally, simply reset the puzzle and start over. Now let's get into rating this game. I used a 5-point system for rating VR games, 1 point each for visuals, audio, gameplay, use of VR, and value. Visually, the game is nothing special. I don't mind the low poly game at all, but the color seems super muted here. Contrast this with something like a Township Tale or Journey of the Gods, and both those games have much more vibrant colors that bring the world to life. Silhouette really doesn't have that. It feels like someone turned down the saturation, so I can't really give it a point. In terms of audio, again, nothing special. The background music does help to set the mood quite well, but it and the sound effects are not to write home about. As I record this review, I literally cannot remember what the music was in the game, and I stopped playing the game 10 minutes ago. Serviceable at best, but not bad. I really can't give it a point either. For gameplay, Silhouette lives and dies on hand tracking and how much you like solving puzzles, as there is no storyline to follow. It's just solve the puzzle, move to the next one, eventually open a new area, ladder, rinse, repeat. The quality of the hand tracking unfortunately is hit and miss. After I fixed the aforementioned lighting issue, I would still occasionally lose tracking and points. There were multiple times in my playthrough where I got stuck, not because the puzzle was difficult, but due to hand tracking issues. I also had a particular issue using the finger gun with my right hand. This may have just been a me problem though. Overall, the tracking issues, the simplicity of most of the puzzles, and the lack of storyline keep Silhouette from earning the gameplay point. For use of VR, this gets a point just for being a fully realized, functional hand-tracked VR game that isn't a glorified tech demo. The movement is intuitive and gets easier the more you use it, and thanks to the hand tracking, this really does feel like a game you can only play in VR. Point there. Lastly, value. The game is $9.99 on the Metastore, which I think is the perfect price for it. It's about as straightforward of a puzzle game as you'll find. When I saw the price, I totally expected to blow through the game in an hour and was pleasantly surprised to still be filming hours later. However, once you complete the game, there's not much reason for casual players to return to it. The game could benefit from a time trial mode or leaderboards or something to encourage repeating the puzzles after the fact. As it stands now, there's no replay value to this. I could recommend it solely on the price alone, as $10 for a 3-ish hour VR experience is pretty decent value. I think puzzle game lovers will enjoy this as I did, so we'll give it a point for a final score of 2 out of 5. Having said that, I will only strongly recommend this game to people who truly enjoy a no-frills puzzle game. If you found this review helpful, please drop a like on the video, let me know down in the comments, and consider subscribing for more VR content. Thanks for watching, I'll see you on the next one.